Now let us talk about the steps of fertilization, particularly like how exactly the female reproductive system reacts to the insemination or reacts to the sperms. Okay, so let us imagine that so this is the diagram of the female reproductive system. Now the intercourse happens, that is the coitus happens. As a result, 200 to 300 millions of sperms are now released due to insemination process within the cervix. Okay, so within the cervix of the female reproductive system. Now within the cervix there are about 200 to 300 millions of sperms are there due to insemination process. Okay, so now I told you that minimum out of 200 to 300 millions of sperms, minimum 60% of the sperm should have normal shape. At the same time, out of 60%, again 40% should have normal motility or vigorous motility. So this is the thing to remember. Okay, so you know that I told you that out of during one insemination around 3.5 ml of the semen will be released, which contains 200 to 300 millions of sperms. Okay, so that is actually the thing is happening now. So this is actually the initial moment of the fertilization. Let us imagine at the same time ovulation occurs. You know what is ovulation? On the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, the ovulation has occurred. This ovum, that is secondary oocyte actually, which is collected by the finger-like projection present just at the tip of the infundibulum region of the fallopian tube. So now this ovum is collected by the fimbriae. Then actually the ovum now travels like this. Let us imagine the ovum is now traveling. Okay, so this particular part is infundibulum, this particular part is ampulla, and this particular part is actually isthmus, correct? Okay, here one thing to remember, that the fertilization exactly happens at here. Exactly, fertilization takes place here. That is actually the end of the ampulla and the beginning of the isthmus. So remember where exactly the sperms meet the secondary oocyte or sperms meet the ovum. That is actually exactly at the ampullary isthmic junction, the junction between ampulla and isthmus. Please note down this, you may get this question. Where exactly fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube? Exactly ampullary isthmic junction. Not ampulla or not isthmus, but exactly between them. That is the junction between ampulla and isthmus. Okay, so let us imagine that the ovum has not reached the end of the ampulla. Let us just imagine. Okay, after ovulation, let us take like this is the 15th day. On the 14th day ovulation has occurred. On the 15th day actually it is traveling here somewhere else, the edge of the infundibulum. Okay, now it is entering into ampulla. Okay, at that time let us imagine the coitus has happened and millions of sperms are released into the vagina, particularly into the cervix. Now the sperms actually, particularly as I have written here, so within the female reproductive system actually the sperms within actually 3.5 ml of the semen, it shows certain movements. Actually that movement is nothing but around 1 to 4 millimeter per minute. The movement is 1 to 4 millimeter per minute. Okay, so that is actually happens. Why this movement happens? Why particularly sperms has to reach here? Why they show that tendency to reach this particular point? Why? It could be this fallopian tube or it could be this fallopian tube actually, whatever it is. But they have the tendency. That's like it's there, it's inbuilt. Why? What is the reason behind it? The reason is actually, there are two reasons. One is obviously sperm is motile by itself, because it has got a tail, and that tail gets the energy because of the mitochondria. Okay, so you know about it. But there are two reasons. Here, the one reason is actually I have written that the uterus. This is the uterus, which actually shows it exhibit one kind of behavior, that is actually the aspiration. The aspiration in the sense that it's like a sucking, the sucking behavior of the uterus. So which makes the sperms to move towards this side. Okay, so aspiratory action of the uterus, one reason. The other reason is actually even this when the sperms reach here. Again here that because of the aspiratory action, obviously the sperms will reach till the fallopian tube, the tip of the fallopian tube. From here onwards you will not see the aspiratory action, but instead you see the peristalsis. That is actually the peristaltic movement of the fallopian tube, the peristaltic movement of the fallopian tube. As a result, that because the movement will be like this. As a result, the sperms actually jump and finally reach ampullary isthmic junction, where the ovum is waiting. Okay, so that when actually the ovum reaches here, so at that time will be around like 16 days. Let us take on the 16th day the ovum or secondary oocyte reaches ampullary isthmic junction. Okay, so this is the thing to remember. Now, out of 200 to 300 millions of sperms which are released inside the vagina, but for ultimately when it reaches the ampullary isthmic junction, the number would be around hardly 100 millions of sperms. So what will happen to remaining 200 millions of sperms? They all die, or instead of that I can say that the female reproductive system kills the sperm, because for the female reproductive system the sperms are foreign bodies. Got it? So they will not take it inside. So that means actually there are a lot of actions will be seen within the female reproductive system to kill the sperms. What kind of actions? The one thing is here, this is actually the vagina, correct? So this is the vagina. This particular vagina actually contains lot of cells. Out of lot of cells, one type of cell is actually the phagocytes. You know phagocytes? The phagocytes means the cells which actually have the ability to eat up any foreign bodies. That means actually because of the phagocytosis exhibited by the phagocyte cells of the vagina will kill many number of sperms within the female reproductive system. So this is the thing. So who escapes? Obviously will reach the fallopian tube. But there is another challenge actually. What is the challenge? The female reproductive system, particularly this lining, the cervix and the vagina, it is bit acidic. So it is bit acidic. So who actually is make them sperm? Who gives the protection to the sperm actually here? The semen gives the protection from the acidity of the female reproductive system or female genital tract actually. So acidity and the phagocytes are the two challenges faced by the sperm. As a result, many number of sperms will be killed on their way till fallopian tube. Ultimately, let us just imagine now the sperms are actually traveling inside. Okay, so some sperms actually escaped from these two things, acidity and phagocytes or phagocytosis of the vagina, escaped it. Okay. So ultimately now millions of sperms, like let us say like 100 millions of sperms now reach the tip of the uterus. Now they actually take the diversion like this. Okay, like this. And ultimately now it reaches this particular site actually. This particular site is ampullary isthmic junction, where the ovum or secondary oocyte is waiting. Okay, so millions of sperm now actually reaches the ovum, where ampullary isthmic junction. So this is the thing to remember. Okay, now the sperms are actually, we'll start from the beginning again. Now the sperms are actually moving after escaping all these challenges. Now actually it is moving towards the fallopian tube. Now I will just pick one sperm here. I'll draw this sperm here. So this is the sperm. Now you know that when you look into the structure of the sperm, this is the head part, correct? The head, the top, the anterior most part of the head actually contains a cap-like structure which is filled with a liquid, and we call it as acrosome, correct? This acrosome is mainly contains some lytic enzymes. We call it as lysins. Okay, sperm lysins. Okay, so that means actually these enzymes are required to break the outermost wall of the ovum. How many wall layers are there in ovum? 3 are there. What are they? Corona radiata, the middle one is zona pellucida, the innermost one, that is nothing but the plasma membrane of the ovum, we call it as vitelline membrane, correct? Vitelline membrane. So this acrosome is required to break all these layers. Particularly the acrosome actually contains liquids. Okay, but it is a preparatory phase. Each sperm having acrosome, now which is surrounded by a membrane, correct? This is the membrane of the acrosome. So when it reaches the ovum, if the membrane starts to dissolve, there is no use. It may take some time, and obviously the ovum may escape the fallopian tube. Ultimately fertilization cannot take place. That means when it enters into when it reaches the uterus, at that time you could see there is the breakage of the acrosome membrane. Okay, this is a kind of preparatory phase actually for fertilization. So that is called as capacitation. What is capacitation of sperm? It is nothing but a physiological process or physiological changes. I'll just write, it is a physiological changes occurs within each sperm where they dissolve by themselves. They dissolve the membrane of the acrosome. Just remember it. So it is the nothing but dissolution of the membrane of the acrosome. That is actually called as capacitation of sperm. which is very very important. So let us imagine that out of millions of sperm, all have completed their capacitation. Normally it takes around 5 to 6 hours. Okay, so 5 to 6 hours. So here actually the insemination takes place. Now actually that sperms are traveling after escaping all these challenges. Actually ultimately actually they reach the fallopian tube. At the time they should complete capacitation, otherwise they cannot penetrate into the ovum. This is the one thing to remember.